When was the last time you failed? I'm not talking about like a little mistake, a little mess up. I'm talking like you dropped the ball big time, like, you know, people say you ruined my life, kind of you gut punch, like everybody's blaming you or you blaming yourself, or the question is, I don't know if I'll ever come back from this kind of failure. When was the last time that happened to you? Maybe you're actually in that season right now. And if you are, or if this has happened to you and you may be struggling over how to process and do all this stuff, I got some good news for you. And that good news is this, that failure just might be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Yo fam, it's Fred, and welcome to the very first episode of the Prevail Sessions. I am so excited about this series of videos. It's gonna be like podcast format, all this kind of stuff. It's just gonna be fun. And I'm excited to share some thoughts, some raw conversations, just, let's get down to the nitty gritty, right? The nitty gritty. It's just, I'm excited for all of this. And I just want to say thank you if you've been around for a minute. Maybe you've been subscribed to the channel, and I know I've been absent, ghosted you, and I haven't been here. But I'm back. And I'm excited to push forward brand new content, brand new formats, and different things like that. We got a lot of things coming down the pike that I'm excited about, but life has been busy, and that is why I've been missing, okay? I done planted a church, we done bought a house, all sorts of things going on in my life. But I'm excited to kick off this brand new topic and series of videos that we're calling the Prevail Sessions, with the topic on failure. I think failure is a huge, very important topic and thing in our lives, but we sometimes run from it, we look over it, and we try to avoid it at all costs. But the reality is, it's a part of life. Here's the thing, failure isn't the enemy. Failure isn't your enemy. It's not like out here to get you and okay, maybe a little bit, but failure isn't your enemy. Actually, failure is the teacher that most of us are running from. But here's the thing, if we lean in to failure, failure will show us a few things. One, it'll show us who we really are. And two, it'll show us what we're made of. So today I want to break down why failure is not the end and show you how failure is actually the classroom that shapes your success. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I'm going to keep it a whole $100. No, my kids would laugh at me if I said that. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it no cap. I have straight up failed a lot, and so I'm just gonna tell you, hands down, failure has taught me more about success than any other thing in my life. So almost a year ago, we had to essentially close the doors on our church. Very sad moment, very hard moment. I had planted this church with my wife in 2015. We started as the meeting place. We've gone through different iterations, but we were almost 10 years into it, and when I say close the doors, I don't mean like we ended it. We had a hard pivot from what we were doing. We had church going every Sunday, location, people showing up, to nothing, essentially nothing. And probably for the last 8 months, it's been more of a rest for us than trying to push forward to figure out how to restart and all these different things. And to be honest with you, I never thought I would hit that point. When we started the church, we started with big hopes and big dreams that we were going to help a lot of people, change a lot of people's lives, impact so many people, and do so many great things in our community. We couldn't even begin to fathom that it would all just break down at some point. And to be honest with you, man, it wasn't just the church closing, it was the leadership team falling apart. It was the loss of friendships and relationships and so many other things. And when you journey through that so often, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Pastors go through this quite a lot. Like, sometimes people leave the church and it doesn't bother us. Sometimes people leave the church and we're bothered for a long time. So pray for your pastor, okay? Pray for him. But here's the reality. Like, I just watched hard years and years and years and years and years of hard work just fall apart and just be gone. And I would qualify that as a failure. And so the reality is I walked away from that experience. I blamed myself. I told myself I was never enough. I didn't think I could ever start again. I didn't think I could ever go again or do anything again. I just kind of gave up. And some of us do that. Like, we have these hopes, these dreams, these big old goals, all these things, and when they don't happen, we just kind of maybe live with a distrust to the world that, if I try this again, it's just going to be the same thing. And that becomes your mindset. And then you get trapped in a cycle where you can't do things or you don't try things, and you just lose your creativity. You lose your love for creating and starting and doing things. And this is where I was at. Just chilling, like, because I got so in my head about this failure. And how can I do that? And how can you beat yourself? You beat yourself up. How you just let me break this down for you. I had a mentor one time say to me, "You're good at starting stuff but not finishing." And so all of this plays over and over in your head. What people say to you, how you do it, and you can't really see a way forward. And I remember feeling like I wasn't enough. I remember feeling like I was done. But now looking back on this season and walking through what I just walked through and all these different things, that season and that journey taught me a few things. One, it taught me more about resilience and faith and just straight up grit. Like, just, you know what? You going through a hard time, but you can come out of this. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you messed up. Maybe you feel like you messed up too big or messed up too often. Or maybe you feel like you're not good enough, or, you're really beating yourself up. I want to say this to you. Failure is not final. Failure is not final. It's just feedback. And I want to give you a couple of thoughts today on why failure is a great teacher. All right, let's get into it. Maybe get a pen or a pencil or something, write this down. Or take notes on your phone. Anyways, here we go. First thing, failure is feedback, not your identity. Not my identity, not anybody's identity. We've been conditioned to think that failure defines who we are. And it doesn't. Failure doesn't define who you are. Failure is just a moment. It's not who you are. Failure is the feedback that says to you, hey, this didn't work, let's adjust. I mean, think about the greats. Think about the people who failed big time. And we couldn't imagine that they would ever fail at anything at this point. I mean, you think about Michael Jordan cut from his high school basketball team. We can't even begin to fathom who would even think to cut Michael Jordan from a team. But it was these failures, these things that would give him feedback so he could become better, right? Steph Curry, you think about how many times he would shoot a basketball just to get good at it. It was feedback. Oprah Winfrey, they told her she wasn't made for TV. And man, she freaking owns, we're not even gonna go there, right? Steve Jobs, fired from Apple, came back and turned the whole company around, and his legacy is cemented in the history books at this point because they didn't take failure personally, right? They all failed big time, but they also won big time because they didn't take it personally. They took the lesson. Failure is feedback. If you listen to failure, it'll teach you something. Number two, failure builds resilience that you can't fake. Oh my God, y'all gotta check this. Listen to this now. Failure builds resilience in you that you can't fake, right? Like wins feel good, but they don't build you. They don't build you. Like I mean, they give you some confidence and all this stuff, but they don't really just build you, right? When you go through losses and heartbreaks and rejection and missed shots and all these things they like shape your character. They begin to build who you are and to really kind of shape and mold and all these kind of stuff, and you learn stuff because of the feedback that you get. So when you fail and you get back up, you build the kind of grit that can't be taught like in the classroom. Like I'm gonna tell you, like you can. I went to seminary and went, all these different things, and it's like a running joke, and I think this is with every profession. It's just they don't teach you this stuff in the class, right? When you're out here and people are cussing you out, and when I was in seminary, they didn't tell me that I would get talked about, and they didn't tell me that somebody would lie on me. They didn't tell me that people have problem with me preaching in red shoes. It's just craziness like that. It's just stuff that don't prepare you for. And sometimes the greatest teacher is the feedback you get from failure, right? So you learn and you build, you change based on that. Next thing is this: failure prepares you for the next level. So your failures today are shaping you for the opportunities of tomorrow. They're shaping you for opportunities that you can't even see yet, right? Stuff that's on your horizon that may be happening in the background that you don't even know is going down. That's what these failures you're feeling, or these things that you're feeling today, are building you up for what's to come. Every stumble you're going through, every stumble is training ground or training for a bigger stage or for a bigger opportunity. The question you have to wrestle with, and the question I have to wrestle with, is this: will we let failure break us or build us? That's a good one right now. We gonna let failure break you or build you? That's what we gotta figure out, right? And that's not easy. We know that's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth the fight. It's worth the time to take and discover and really work through these things that you're maybe facing or going through. See, I had this realization probably like a week ago, and I'm wrapping this video up because I think I've been talking for a long time. But I had this realization like a week ago that I was infatuated with what I hoped and dreamed that things in life would be, right? And sometimes we can get stuck at the dream, at the hope, and we can become so enamored with what we hope would happen that we forget that it's still happening. Yeah, the road might be a little different from what you thought it would be. Yeah, you may have had to pivot, and you may have had to go through a little something and stuff like that. But I want you to understand you are still on the road to success, and opportunity is still at your door. You can't give up, man. You can't give up. And I don't know who this is for, but I want you to hear me. Failure is not your identity. It's feedback. It's teaching you something about yourself. And if you lean into that, you'll learn these lessons. So here's my challenge for you this week. As you're listening to this, whether it be by video or podcast, whatever it may be, I want you to take one failure, one thing that you've gone through, one thing that you would consider a failure, and instead of replaying the pain over and over in your head, I want you to take like a pen, a piece of paper, a book, notebook, journal maybe, and I want you to write down the lesson it gave you. Write down the lesson it gave you. And here's why I want you to do this, because if you can glean from this a lesson, then the question you have to ask yourself is, did you really fail? Because if you can get a lesson out of it, you didn't actually fail. You leveled up. All right, so this is the very first episode of the Prevail Sessions, and I'm just getting started. It's gonna be crazy up in this mall. Y'all better get ready. Listen, if this hits you in any kind of way, like if you rock with this, if this resonates with you, do me a favor. I want you to subscribe. Subscribe. Get the word right, bro. Subscribe. Click the bell so you get notifications. And do me a favor, drop a comment in the comments below and let me know what lesson you've learned, and let's talk about it. What lessons have you learned from failure? Share it with someone else too. Like if you know somebody need to watch this hit you and you thought about homeboy or your homegirl or whatever, whoever it may be, drop them a text, a Facebook message. Yo, you need to check this out. Anyways, thank you for being here. Next week we got a new one coming. I'm excited about that. We're gonna be talking about something. Maybe I think we're gonna be talking about the comeback mindset. It's gonna be crazy. But until then, keep going, keep growing, and remember, you were built to prevail. Peace out, fam.